Welcome everyone. Star, Flag Media, Drunken Idiots. We are back.
That's right. We are back from our vacation. I hope you all checked our vlog and with our stay in Santa Marta.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the trip. I enjoyed the video. I enjoyed putting the video together. There was a few little Easter eggs in there that only we can laugh at. But overall, the video itself is up for everyone to go watch. Go check out our trip to Santa Marta. Drunken Idiots being exactly that, all over different continents now. International.
We global. International.
We're global. With that said, we're gonna go over this week. A couple of things happened while we were away. The first thing while we actually were in Santa Marta was the Sony showcase.
Yes.
Boy. We sat there, we watched it.
It was horrible. But
let's cut to the chase.
It was horrible.
Tell us how you really feel.
It was a horrible show, but at the same time, when we were down there,
we knew it was gonna
be bad because Sony had already announced that they weren't dropping any first party games this year. They had no scheduled big releases this year, and they were just like, "Yeah, see us in 2025."
Yep. They showed off a couple of interesting Concord, which is like their Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff / arena shooter.
What is it called? What's the show on not the show, the game. Shit. Oh my god. I've been sipping, guys. So it's a clone. It's the Overwatch clone.
Yeah, yes. It looks like Overwatch. It's an arena-based shooter. And it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy's bootleg version of that mixed with a bootleg version of Overwatch. They announced God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC, which everybody knew.
Yeah,
they showed off Dynasty Warriors, which was blah, who cares?
Yeah.
Infinity Nikki, which was like a girly RPG. So I guess if you're a 14-year-old girl.
Of Peach's
yeah, Sony has a Princess Peach game. Open world RPG. Then they showed off another game called Where Winds Meet. Again,
I think that was what was that? Was that with the mouse?
It says it's set in the 10 Kingdoms era where Winds Meet has players taking the role of a swordsman who will play a critical role in influencing the outcome of conflict. It was forgettable.
Okay.
Forgettable.
Yeah.
Ballad of Antara, another RPG. So it's a lot of RPGs coming to the PS5. Skydance Behemoth, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners for VR. They showed up a few VR games. Alien Rogue.
The aliens look kind of cool, though.
Alien was probably out of the entire showcase, that's the standout. Unfortunately, I don't like getting scared, so fuck that. Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, I'm not paying you to scare me.
And I gotta buy the VR headset on top of that.
Yeah, it's the price entry is pretty high.
It will be scary. It will be cool. It's not for me. Marvel Rivals, that looks good. That's their Overwatch clone.
But that's third party.
Yep, but
it's going to be out for everywhere.
In their showcase, yeah, it's going to be out for everything.
That's going to be. I'm gonna download that.
Looks cool. Looks cool. Until Dawn gets a new trailer and a fall release window.
But that also looked like a PS3 game,
and
the graphics didn't look too pretty for me.
Yeah, and it's coming on PC as well.
Yeah.
Path of Exile 2.
I think that kind of looked cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, it's got couch co-op, which for a Sony game is rare. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 was underwhelming for me. For a remake, that game also looked not like something that it didn't look like something that was remade.
It looked like a PS3 game.
It looked like like what it originally came out on, and it was like high def version of the original graphics.
They used the buzzwords. True.
Yeah.
True remake, and
I guess. Capcom did show off a very cool Monster Hunter Wilds game.
Oh yeah.
But the Monster Hunter games all tend to be good and always sell well.
I would. So, all right.
There are a lot of Monster Hunter games.
There's a lot of Monster Hunter games. I heard they're really great. It is a spinoff, but I might, depending on what the price point is,
it'll be $70. It'll be $70. It's a Capcom game.
I might catch it on sale.
The surprise leaked game was the Astrobot game,
which looked pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
It does look cool, but you guys gotta remember they gave away the first Astro game with every PlayStation 5. So what is this game gonna cost? Is it gonna be more than $20?
I think so.
Is it gonna be $40?
I think 30 or 40 is a good price point.
I think 30. Anything above 39 is too much.
Okay, I agree.
But knowing Sony, it'll be 49 because
it might be 70.
It can't be $70 game. I think that 49 might be the new 39.
It looked really good as a platformer.
And it's their mascot.
Yeah,
it's the PS5 mascot.
Yeah, because they got they looked at Mario, Nintendo.
They need a Sonic.
They looked at the Nintendo, the Mario movie, and they said
maybe
we gotta do that.
It looked okay. I'm not gonna play it, but I'm sure kids will like it. And hell, there's not a lot of what you could call kid games that aren't third party. First party Astro, okay, let's do it.
My son would like it, so yeah, I would pick it up for my son to play it with my son, depending on what the price is at launch.
Yeah, and then they showed off, of course, the new consoles that are coming and all that. Like they showed off the Slim and all that, the PlayStation 5 Slim and all that. Well, that's already out, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, with that said, it was an underwhelming showcase, and I gave it a D. Out of, if you had to give it a scale, from A to F, I gave it a D. It didn't fail because there were some games in here that you can go playable, interesting, but it wasn't something that blew me away. And especially, this is supposed to be like E3 time.
Yeah, I think a D is a good score because they submitted just enough to say, hey, we got games coming in the later half of 2024.
Yeah, this is what we've got coming up. And then again, during Christmas time, they probably will do another showcase and show you what's coming for next year.
Yeah, September is usually when they drop another showcase.
Yeah, everybody's been doing like what basically Nintendo set up a few years ago with the Directs. And now that's what we got. So the next thing, though, was the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, that was last week.
And I almost ran a video right after the showcase, but decided to hold off and just get our thoughts for the podcast instead. They showed off a lot of stuff.
Xbox did very well with their showcase. They got a lot of games.
Good presentation.
They got a lot of games coming. They made sure to hit you in the head with the whoosh.
Day one.
Game Pass Day One. So they got that. But it's been a lot of Xbox fans saying that Sony fans are salty and we wish that those games are third party. And my reply to that is
they might be later.
Xbox.
They might be later.
My reply to that is I thought Xbox always had good showcases.
No, that's definitely not the case. I would say that they haven't
how they're treating this showcase. This
showcase was so good, but Xbox hasn't had a failing showcase since I think Xbox One.
Yeah,
but they've always been average at best. They've never had. To me, Xbox hasn't blown me away in a long fucking time.
Well, pause. But
Xbox is a girl.
So I'm gonna say this. Xbox,
yeah,
you guys had a great showcase. You guys showcased a lot of games.
Let's go through the list.
But I'm gonna say this, y'all good for teasing the gamers with games and then not dropping them.
These games are all gonna come out because it's no longer. The reason I'll say this is because these games were already well in development when Microsoft pretty much acquired every company that showed these games off. These games were already, so this isn't something, these games we know are coming out. But let's go through the list because it was a very decent, I would say it was above decent showcase. we got to start off with titles from Activision, Bethesda, Blizzard, of course. A little change that they made that I that we talked about briefly in the group chat was they changed Phil Spencer's title. He is now CEO of Microsoft Games.
Yeah.
No longer Xbox. So they are definitely all going to be under the Microsoft umbrella going forward. They're not trying to split up the company. You guys are, we're all Microsoft.
Conspiracy.
And I mean, that's what it is. They're going to take charge.
Conspiracy is, I don't think, so we know they're coming out with a next gen console.
Yeah, one more at least.
I think they are warming up the Microsoft games because
Xbox is a platform that can be on anything versus
because if
it's gonna be Game Pass,
you can't have an Xbox game on PlayStation or Nintendo, but if and you're still selling Xbox consoles.
Oh, they're doing it now. And you know what's funny is
but I heard a lot of the games that they drop, they say Microsoft games.
Sony, they say Xbox Game Studios.
All of them?
Yeah. I mean, if you pop in like Minecraft, it'll say Xbox Game Studios on Switch.
No, I'm talking about the newer ones that they just
they say Xbox Game Studios. If it's made by Xbox Game Studios, that's another thing that I wanted to add. Xbox Game Studios is now like its own studio.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but they are going to be under that umbrella. And Sony just announced that Horizon Lego game is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I think that's a really good idea because they know their audience for a Lego game.
Yeah.
And but what's really interesting is that it's going to be PS5 and Switch, and it's a first party license. So,
I mean, so a lot of people were saying that's interesting. Oh, PlayStation is going third party. I'm like, no.
I didn't say that. I would never say that.
I'm like, but Horizon is they're trying to do their own little Zelda type of.
And this isn't the Horizon main game. Let's face it.
No, it's not.
It's a spin-off, and it's a Lego series.
It's a Lego game.
And let's be real. Where is a Lego game going to sell?
On Nintendo.
It's just going to sell better on Nintendo.
Alex would love it. Alex is my son.
And
shout out to him.
Not only that, it's a good entry point for kids to learn about Horizon.
Yes.
So anyway, we digress.
A future building.
Microsoft showed off. Let's start off with the games. Age of Mythology Retold. This is kind of like Age of Empires. Looks very cool. I like those type of games.
The one with like Anubis and all that.
Yeah, kind of like Civ.
They had the gods going.
Yeah, kind of like Civ, but with mythological gods. Very cool. Looked all right. So this is a Age of Mythology, came out in 2002. They are now remaking it, I guess, for PC and Xbox. Then they showed off Avowed. Also looked pretty good. They've showed that off before, though.
Yeah, they showed that off before.
And then they showed off Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And then they also showed off that they were going to have a direct right after the showcase that would just focus on Black Ops 6. And right off the bat, we got the answer that everybody wanted to know was, is Call of Duty going to be day one Game Pass? It will. Black Ops 6, you can get it day one on Game Pass. That's a big get for them.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Doom, The Dark Ages, that's set to come out in 2025. But if you're a Doom fan, I'm not. Again, it's a good first-person shooter, but it's scary.
It's not as scary as like Silent Hill.
It's not, but it has jump scares, and I don't like jump scares. So I'm not playing Doom, but it looked really cool. It's a prequel to the 2016 Doom. Fable gets shown off.
Okay. They finally showed off Fable.
Yeah.
They finally showed off more of Fable.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings.
The Fable that I know, you were able to create your character. I don't know if you was able to create a female or a male character, but I always chose a male character. Now, the original Fable team is not a part of this, and I understand that. They got the people who made Horizon, the racing game, to help in with this game, with Fable. Now, in my personal opinion, if I were to play Fable and they strayed too far away from the formula, then it's a no for me. And from what I've seen, it looked like you're playing as a protagonist that you can't create who is going to be a female. And listen,
we don't know yet, but that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like.
It did.
But like, I have no problem against females. I love Laura Croft. I love playing Horizon Forbidden West. I have no problem with female protagonists. I like Metroid. But I say all that to say, if I can't create my character, then it's not creating my own story. It's not Fable.
Well, we'll see. I think this is a fresh new story, so they're not going to go with I agree with what you say. I like the idea of creating your own character. But my biggest gripe, and this is really weird, but my biggest gripe with the Fable game was the look. So with past Fables, they were never ultra realistic graphics. They were always stylized. And that could be because of the consoles that they came out on. And you could say that, that was what was available for the tech at the time. But it wasn't trying to look ultra realistic like, say, Elder Scrolls, any of those games. So
that wasn't ultra realistic either.
But that's what they were going for back. If you go play the Elder Scrolls games on Xbox 360, they were going for ultra real look for that time. Well, Fable was always cartoony-ish. It was always set. It was a Fable.
It looked cartoony-ish to me.
This one, yes, but it's going with a more. The art style is not what it used to be. It looks more based on realism, and I'm not a fan of the art style. With that said, I am a big Fable fan, so I am still going to wait and see. It is day one Game Pass, so anybody who has Game Pass for any of the other games that we're going to mention on today's list, you're not going to lose out anything by waiting till Fable comes out and just trying it and seeing if you like it or not. And you might be pleasantly surprised, especially if you're not dropping $70 on it. So we'll see. Fable, big franchise. We both like it. We're worried.
Yeah.
that's probably the best.
Shaky.
Yeah.
We're shaky.
Worried. And because we're worried because we like it. So we'll see. The next one, well, these are out of order. I'm just going alphabetically, but then they showed off also Gears of War at the very end of the presentation.
Yes, that was their one last thing.
Yep, Gears of War E-Day. Looks like it's a prequel. It looks like a younger Marcus Phoenix is back, and Dom Santiago is alive. Spoiler alert for anybody who has been around for the last 20 years. They do the iconic Mad World, Gary Jules song to give you that nostalgia from 2006.
Yep.
This is going to be a big hit. Gears has been a smash hit for Microsoft forever.
And it's a prequel.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about gripes earlier. My one gripe with what I seen with that, yes, I'm very excited for a new Gears of War game. Yes, I'm excited that it's a prequel. We get to see how everything started. But there was no actual gameplay.
Yeah, no, this is all it was a teaser trailer, but it's going to be hard to mess this up. It's going to be made in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is gorgeous, and it's not that far off of what we saw in the trailer. Unreal can pull that stuff off if you have
it's going to be hard to mess it up, but don't forget we're talking about Xbox.
Well, Xbox hasn't really messed up a lot of their games. It's just they've been messing up their marketing more than anything.
Infinity?
Well, that's not an Xbox game. So who made that game? That wasn't Bungie anymore. So if they change who's making the game, they can screw it up. But that's the original developer seems to be behind it. Exactly. So yeah, so it seems like it's the original developer behind it. The thing that got me was a lot of these games were shown off in 4K and 30 frames per second for streamers. So they were really kind of making it a point to hammer it home that this is going to be good for streaming. And they did show off the trailer in 4K resolution with 30 frames per second, 5.1 stereo sound. And they say these specs were optimized for streaming. Do not represent the game's final performance, but that's what they showed it off on. So if you're a tech head and you care about that stuff, keep that in mind. They showed off a new trailer for Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. And
that looks good. That looks fun. It captured the spirit of Indy.
I was gonna say that
it captured the movie.
Felt like a movie.
Yeah. I wish they would have gave us a date.
Yeah. Well, they're teasing us. That's what they want to do. They're what we do know though is that it's going to be a day one Game Pass game. So again, another one of those, if you got Game Pass and you weren't going to drop $70 on it, you're not going to lose anything when this game drops and you can play it day one. It'll of course be available also on PC. Then they showed off probably the most graphically impressive game of the night. Microsoft Simulator, the flight simulator.
Oh, the flight, yo. So, all right, boom.
Am I wrong?
No, I always wanted to play the flight simulator because.
Am I wrong? Did that look amazing?
No, it looks really great.
Yeah.
So boom. So just a little backstory about me. My father is from Jamaica, and as a kid, he used to take me to the airport, Bradley Airport, and it used to be a little lot where before 9/11. It used to be a little lot. You could just pull up and you could watch the planes take off. And ever since then, I always wanted to fly. And that's why I like Mario 64 and all the flying games I got now.
I mean, it looked really nice. And you're allowed to do commercial airlines. You're going to do helicopters. They showed off a lot of cool things. But more than anything, what it really liked was just like the level of detail. And it just graphically
like with the weather, like they got real time weather.
And you probably wouldn't expect me to be a graphics whore, but that graphically looked really nice. And like I said, it was, to me, unexpectedly the prettiest game of the night. Then they also showed off Perfect Dark.
Yes.
Joanna Dark looks horrible. She looks like she's part of the LGBT community.
So from what I've seen from the gameplay,
her face.
I'm glad that they showed gameplay because this is one of the few games that they showed actual gameplay for.
That's true, and we weren't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it for Perfect Dark.
They said they were making this game since
forever.
Yeah, since I don't know 2019.
And everybody thought this game was never going to come out.
And some of the gameplay that I've seen, it looked a little repetitive.
Yeah.
So I'm shaky on this one.
I'm super shaky on this one because one of my most disappointing games of all time that I didn't mention in our disappointing games list was Perfect Dark Zero for the Xbox 360. And that was coming off of one of my favorite N64 games of all time, which was Perfect Dark. And then when I went on to 360, that was my launch game. I bought freaking 360 for that. And Perfect Dark Zero was my launch game, and it was such a disappointment. So we'll see. And we all know if Rare is involved, they're not what they used to be. So we'll find out. Then they showed off a really cool looking, claymation-y looking game. It was called South of Midnight. The characters kind of looked like they were like animated in claymation with a giant fish.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought that was they had the
art style was cool.
They had the accents good. They had the accents right. I feel like that's their Horizon, or
maybe, it was
but
cool. The art
looks
style
good.
was very different.
I like the art style.
They were doing like 16 frames per second on purpose.
That game looked good.
To look like claymation. What I will say, this was the first game of the night that set a theme for strong, independent black women that don't need no man. She was a little mythical. She was a mythical type character, so I forgave it, but definitely the beginning of, oh, okay. She's very strong, she's very independent, and she's bidding up people 8 times her size. Cool.
It looked
good.
It looked fun.
So I can't. Yeah, it does look like a good game. With that said,
yeah, they had the accents down right. She's from like Louisiana.
It's beautiful too.
And I used to live in the South.
Yeah,
I've also visited New Orleans, and from what I could tell,
it's pretty accurate. With the accents.
Accurate with accents.
I believe Sweet Baby Games or whatever they're called. They're probably involved with this one. Sweet Baby Inc. The next one, another game they showed off was State of Decay 3. It was an open world zombie survival game. Okay. Again, I don't like scary games, but if you are a fan of the first 2 games, go get the third. Then they showed off Assassin's Creed with gameplay. Okay. They also cleverly didn't show off too much of the controversial character, which was the black samurai, Yasuke, who, you know, you could debate on whether or not he was a samurai. Nothing in historical records show that, but they're taking creative licenses. He wasn't so much in this game trailer, which I noticed, as he was in the first time they revealed it. And I think they're doing that on purpose to kind of appease.
He's probably a major part of the game.
He is definitely a major part of the game, and I think that they're trying to get as much sales as they can and ward off all the negativity around the game right now. Assassin's Creed. Then they showed off another game called Atomfall.
Let me see that. I think that was cool.
Yeah, it was set in the rolling British countryside with idyllic pubs, quaint villages, red phone boxes.
That looked cool.
Yeah, this was another surprise cool game. They also showed off a game called Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That's a turn-based RPG. You can skip right over that one. Then they showed off a new Dragon Age, the Veilguard, for the first time in a new trailer. So this is going to be a good game. So I love. This is a company that I forgot about until this trailer dropped. I forgot all about BioWare. BioWare has made some of my favorite RPGs in the last 20 years, and I forgot that Electronic Arts owns BioWare, and that they still have that Dragon Age series.
I forgot that. I seen the trailer, and actually I remember being on the 360 and seeing a lot of my friends stuck on Dragon Age 3.
I was like, holy crap, BioWare definitely are great.
I never forget all of that. So yeah, it's something that I will look into. I'm sure that's going to be third party. So
yeah, it's Electronic Arts, so it'll probably come out on PS5. We don't know. I haven't seen it announced for PS5 yet, but it'd be stupid of them not to. Dragon Age, cool, man. I was excited. I was like, BioWare, holy crap, thank you. So that's cool. They showed off another game called Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn.
That looked fun.
Also looked cool. Blending classic Souls mechanic with a brutal, fast-paced combat system. They showed off a game called Fragpunk. New competitive first-person shooter, squad-based 5 versus 5 hero shooter, another arena-type game. They showed off Life is Strange, Double Exposure. Okay. This game was a surprise for me, because when I first saw it, I said, holy crap, a new Gundam game.
Oh yeah, I thought it was Gundam.
Oh my god, and it looks really cool. Are they going to use the Gundam license? But it's called Mecha Break. Mecha Break revealed. Blitz Brawl Blaze.
Yeah, it looked cool.
It looked really cool.
Those are one of the games that I would rent from Hollywood Video,
or maybe play a couple times on your Game Pass day one and be like, oh, I played it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, but like.
It looked
really
fun. Yeah, it looked really cool.
It reminded me of the PS1 days where they had all those Gundam type mecha games, and it looked cool, it looked fun.
If this would have had the Gundam license, it would have been perfect. Because the first thing I thought of was, holy shit, this is Gundam. But it wasn't Gundam. But yeah, it might as well be. I liked it. And then they showed off Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. With I don't know what they're gonna call it. It's Alpha. There's a triangle. It's a remake of Snake Eater.
Yeah, but it looked like a PS3 game.
And because it is a PS3 game, the only difference is that they're using Unreal Engine 5 now. So they're supposedly, using that technology. But here's the thing. This is what I'm going to compare it to. You remember the original Metal Gear Solid on like PlayStation 1?
Yep.
When the GameCube came out, they did Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, which was the first Metal Gear Solid with GameCube graphics. And that's what this is. That's all this is. And all they did was like, oh, well, now you can also use Metal Gear Solid's 2 control scheme, and it's better. And it was better in every respect, every regard, but it's still Metal Gear Solid. And that's what this feels like. It's Snake Eater. And okay. This is a weird game. I wanted to like it because it was so 80s. it was late 80s, early 90s. It's called Mixtape.
Oh, with the kids.
It got really weird, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a game or if
it's very artsy.
A music simulator.
It's very artsy. It's trying to hit you with that nostalgia with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And for me,
like a press X button. Or,
it might be. I have no idea what the game is.
Yeah.
So that's my problem, is I don't know what the game is. Based on what I saw at the very beginning, I really wanted to like it because it seemed like a very 80s, 90s movie. The soundtrack is they spent all their money on the music.
Yeah, of course.
They licensed everything.
It has a good soundtrack, but
then they went into like these weird scenes where the cars are flying. I don't know what the hell to make of this game yet.
Press X.
I don't know.
Or square or whatever button.
I don't know. But the biggest, because the trailer was like, okay, everything was secondary to the soundtrack. It was like featuring music from Devo, Roxy Music, Smashing Pumpkin, and they went through this list of early 90s bands, and I was like, I don't know what to make of this. I want to like it because of the music, but it's hard for me to. Am I gonna day one Game Pass? I'll play it on Game Pass. Then they showed it. I'm not paying $70 for that though. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Which looked very different from the first time they showed the game.
I think it looked better than the first time they showed the game, but what I think they're trying to hammer home for this game is
it was made in Ukraine.
Guys, it was made in Ukraine, and they're going through some really bad stuff right now, so please buy this game and support this Ukrainian. But let me tell you something. I don't care. Make a good game. I don't care where you're from. If you're a North Korean company and you want to make the best game ever, I'm going to give my money to Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un, whichever one of those guys is in power right now. Winter Burrow announcements trailer. So Winter Burrow was this weird cartoony game. You could skip that. You play as the tiny mouse. That's the one that you said about.
Yeah, the mouse game. I was like, what the hell? It's Pentiment 2. Pentiment 2.
Cozy game elements with challenging your approachable survival mechanics. And I'm sure it's probably amazing, but because we're being fickle, it's probably one of the best games that we're being fickle.
They're going to say game of the year.
like Pentiment. And I haven't bought Pentiment yet, but I will buy it on Switch. They showed off a very oriental Japanesey game called Wu Chang.
Oh yeah, that
Falling Feathers.
It looked very Japanese. It looked cool, but I don't like Japanese games like that.
Because it is an action RPG, I'm not going to play it. But this is made for the Japanese market, and Xbox is really still trying out there. And even though they don't make a dent in Japan, this game is it's very much a Japanese game. Even though it might be Chinese based or something like that, I don't know. They went on Game Pass, so again, if you have Game Pass, you're just not going to be dropping $70 anymore on these games. They really want you to make Game Pass Netflix. What Chris said at the beginning of the podcast is exactly right. They hammered home every single time that these games were day one on Game Pass. You saw the same logo pop up, and it was almost repetitive, but it was like on purpose. They want to make sure you know that if you are buying Game Pass, you're going to get these games. They showed off Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred.
Oh yeah, the cinematics for that looked amazing.
Very good. And we all know, Blizzard.
Yeah,
it's Blizzard.
Blizzard go hard on their animations.
Elder Scrolls Online. That was a surprise.
Yeah, they getting more
celebrating
DLC.
A decade of adventures. I thought that game was dead. It is not dead. So Elder Scrolls Online getting DLC 10-year anniversary celebration. 10 years already, man. We're getting old, bro. This was a welcome surprise for me because the day before I paid 33 cents on the Windows Store and I purchased this game because it was only 33 cents. So Fallout 76 announces a Skyline Valley release date and announcement. So as we all know, Fallout 76 started off very rough. It was not it was pretty much an empty state with not a lot of people playing it.
It was Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk.
Yep. And then, years later, they've gone in and they fixed it. They added elements where if you are a single player, you will have more interaction with NPCs and make it more Fallout. And now the game is good. Was it too little too late? Apparently not, because Fallout 76 Skyline Valley release gets a release date. And now you're going to come out of Vault 63 and uncover new mysteries and new elements. And of course, massive multiplayer online. So you will encounter people. I encountered my first 2 people yesterday.
Okay.
Which was very interesting and almost jarring to see other people in what I've always known at Fallout being this vast, empty.
So what happened when you met them?
They wanted me to join their party.
Okay.
To go on one of the missions, and I politely declined.
Okay.
Because
you didn't want to get killed.
Fallout, and I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, and I just started playing the game. So maybe I would have joined the party and it would have been great, or it's Fallout. So next they showed off Sea of Thieves Season 13 update.
That looked cool.
Sea of Thieves, great. It's on PS5 now, so great. These updates are only a very welcome thing, especially for new players. They can only welcome new updates. Sea of Thieves was very popular. It reached its threshold on Xbox. So seeing it now on PC and PS5 with the new update, good. I can only say that's good. This one got me personally excited because I beat the game. And I don't beat many games. Starfield DLC, Starfield Shattered Space.
Oh, that looked cool.
This looks like a very welcome thing, and I think this is gonna fix a lot of things people were complaining about with Starfield. I think this DLC will be like that, what you wanted out of the original Starfield. Get it. Also, day one on Game Pass. June update is actually now available. Get it now. The Darkness Calls. Man, they had a lot on this showcase, man.
Yeah.
They had a lot on the showcase. Blizzard's 10th. The Darkness Call is another World of Warcraft expansion. That game is still around, man. World of Warcraft, 20-year anniversary. The War Within is set to launch on August 26th.
So, overall, what would you rate the Xbox showcase?
Well, they ended it, and that was the last game. So they ended it with the new hardware, which was the digital Xbox X and S, right? The new Xbox, whatever. It looks white. That's all they did. And they removed the hard drive. Or they moved the disk drive. I give this showcase an A. It was really, really good. The only thing that could have made this an A+ would have been a shadow dropped Halo out of nowhere. Day one, get it now. Like, that would have just blown everybody's mind. Like, yo, there's a surprise Halo game that we had in development.
Yeah.
But overall, it was an A. It was good, especially after what Sony put out.
I give it a B+.
That's fair.
They had a lot of games that didn't have a concrete release date.
That's true.
If there was a lot of coming 2024, coming 2025.
Yeah.
There were few fall 2024s or early 2025s. There was a lot of
coming soon.
There's a lot of coming soons. Pause. But there was also a lot of trailers and CGI. There wasn't a lot of gameplay. Yeah. But from what I've seen, it was a good showcase.
With E3.
It was a great showcase. They showed a lot of games that I personally would want to play, want to buy.
Yeah.
And
which they haven't done in so long.
And they sparked a lot of curiosity with those games, and
which Xbox hasn't done in 5 years.
Yeah. So
let's be real, maybe 5 or 6 years.
It was great. It was great.
It was great. Good for you, Xbox. Now
deliver.
I was gonna say now just follow through. Please deliver. Most of these games we know are coming out again because these are not in Microsoft or Xbox Game Studios' hands because they were already in development. We're gonna see what happens in the next 6 years. And we're gonna find out those games that were already in development that are gonna come out in the next 6 years, we know because they were already done. I will say this, the big takeaway from this was Call of Duty, we can't really understate how big a deal Call of Duty is.
Itself.
Yeah, we could do that later on. But Call of Duty did the showcase after that, and they went in. And having that day one on Game Pass is a big deal for Microsoft. It's still going to sell a crazy amount of units regardless. People are going to get it on PC. People are going to get it on PS5. It's still Call of Duty, and it's Black Ops. Probably next to Modern Warfare. Yeah. It's their biggest franchise. So it looks cool. I'm hyped. Good job, Xbox. Before we get into our list, because we're running a little long, you want to talk a little bit about The Boys. The Boys had a season.
So
did you want to talk about this as Chris's Corner, or do you want to talk about this as Boys?
So listen, as much as I want to rant right now, I think we should take a break.
Oh.
And we could edit this out.
Okay.
And then we could come back.
And you want me to do a Chris's Corner and then put that in as a separate video?
And then we could do the other disappointments. So you got 3.
You want me to stop here?
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, guys, I appreciate you guys being here this week with us at Starflag Media's Drunken Idiots.
And before we go, I just want to shout out.
So much happened this week.
Before we go, I just want to shout out all the women out there who got a CDL, driving big trucks,
dump trucks
with the wagons.
Yeah.
And shout out to all my ladies with the yams that got the CDLs.
All right. Well, and if you got any friends with yams, let me know. Thank you guys for joining us this week. As always, my name is Anthony, and I'm here with my partner here.
Talents 860,
Talents 860, aka Chris. We're the Drunken Idiots. Please hit that like button.
And I get to the yams.
Share.
Sweet.
Comment.
Yams.
Subscribe.
Show me the way.
We'll be here week after week. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you guys next time.